What if I told you the one thing standing between you and your greatest potential is you? Would you believe me? Well, that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at your beliefs, because so many of us have beliefs that we've adopted that don't serve us, that don't help us. And in this video, we're going to look at some ways you can turn that around. Beliefs are so important because they shape our identity. They shape if we feel that we're worthy, if we're lovable, if we're capable. Whatever we feel, that is coming back to a belief. And if we feel that we're stupid or inadequate or anything like that, the root of that is a belief. It's a belief that we adopted somewhere along the line and we took it as truth. Because what a belief is a thought that you've had that you've turned into a truth for you. It doesn't mean that it's true, but you turned it into a truth. So a belief right here is shaping your identity. The next thing it's doing is it's either fueling action and propelling you forward, or it's fueling inaction and you're just staying there and you're stuck or you're not doing anything. Because if you don't start, you're going to stop yourself, right? So if you don't even go out for the job, if you don't even try this thing, if you don't try to write a book, you don't do any of those things, what have you done? You've stopped yourself before you even give someone else a chance to stop you. So you are stopping you because of these beliefs that you have. Third, beliefs define how you see success and failure. Do you see it as something that's permanent, like failure is permanent, like I made a mistake, I failed, that's going to be on my permanent record? Or do you see failure as stepping stones to success? How do you see all that? That is determined by your beliefs. And if your beliefs are working with and for you, then you're going to see it in a positive way. But if you've adopted, like I have and other people have, a bunch of crappy beliefs that hold you back, then the success that you want is going to be so much harder because you have all this programming and beliefs going on in the background that's not working with you. And a big one with a lot of triggers is money. Beliefs shape your relationship with money. And if your relationship is poor, or you don't like money, or you don't think it's good, you think it's filthy and this kind of stuff, if that was a person, would they want to hang around you? No, they'd skedaddle, they'd get out of here. So think about that. What are your beliefs about money, and what kind of relationship do you have with money? Is it toxic? Is it stressful? Is it enjoyable? How is it? Because you've adopted some beliefs over the way, and now they're either serving you with regards to money or they're holding you back. Another one is, I hear people say, I don't want to get rich quick. You know, it's some get rich quick scheme, these kind of things. But look at the alternative. Not necessarily that it needs to be a scheme, but if you take forever to acquire money and wealth, that's not a good plan either. The stay broke slow plan, right? No one talks about that. They just say, watch out for getting rich quick and those schemes and that kind of thing. But no one warns you about staying broke for a long period of time. And I would say that is a belief that has been embedded in us and had the outcome and affects more of us than get rich quick kind of schemes that we need to worry about. People will also talk about how money is evil. Money is not good or bad. It's how you use it. If I have money and I'm helping children and things like that, how is that money evil? If I'm a drug dealer or doing these kinds of things, yes, I have some ill intention here and the money's being used in a negative way. But money itself is neutral. It's not positive or negative. So when we say things like money is evil, again, if we were looking at it as a relationship, is anyone going to stick around if you think they are evil? And would you want to stick around if someone thought you were evil? No. So money, again, is not sticking around if you think it's evil. The other thing I hear is, I don't deserve money. We have this false belief that we don't deserve it. These other people, they deserve it, but not me. I don't deserve it. other people can have it and they can have the life and all this kind of stuff, but me, I have to stay on the struggle bus because I've adopted beliefs that have me just not having money. I just don't have it because I don't feel that I deserve it. Another one is I feel that I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to either earn money or I'm not good enough to keep money. I've heard people say, oh, if I made a bunch of money, I just blow it. I just lose it. Okay? Again, you've picked up those habits and those beliefs that are now working against you. So I guarantee you there's other people in the world that have different ideas and different opinions about money, and all you have to do is look at what is the majority doing and probably pick a different belief, because those beliefs are really not serving us when it comes to money. Then I hear people say that money will change people. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing I've noticed. I've noticed money, the lack of money, changing people. They have made some decisions and things that they felt like, well, I'm kind of like in a bind here. I need to do this. I don't have any other choice. I don't have any other options. Okay? So the lack of money can put you in some pretty precarious things. Yes, we see the high profile situations where people embezzled money and they stole and things like that. But think about the other side of it when you don't have money, and what's the cost of that? What kind of decisions are you choosing to make and those types of things because you don't have the money? So we've looked at how money changes people, and that again goes back to your beliefs. But you also have beliefs about, like, I can't buy happiness. I've heard that so many times. People will tell me money does not buy happiness. Well, you know what? I don't think it was ever meant to. It can supplement it and those types of things, but I don't think happiness is meant to be contingent on money. So somehow we put these two together and we now think, if I want to be happy, I cannot have money. Now that is the craziest thing I've ever heard, but there's so many people that think it's either or rather than an and moment. I didn't really plan to talk about all this stuff on money, but it's just a spur of the moment and I'm just kind of getting into it here. And another thing about money though is I hear people say on their false beliefs and the beliefs that are holding them back is that it's a zero-sum game. Meaning that in this game, if I win, you lose. If you win, I lose. So they see it as a zero-sum game. And think about this. If someone else makes money, does that necessarily take away from your money? No. Just as if I was to hold my breath, because I was like, I want to save oxygen and air for other people. If I was to hold my breath, is that going to give more oxygen for other people? No. Is it going to take away the oxygen in the world? No. So we just have this false belief that somehow if I have money, then it's taking away from other people. And I was just thinking of all these examples. Like if I was to smile, which I haven't done a lot in this video, but if I was to smile, does it stop me from smiling towards another person? Or smiling a minute from now, or anything like that. No, it doesn't take it away at all. So I can smile all day long, and it doesn't mean that if I smile at you right now, that then all I'm gonna have left is frowns, okay? But that's the thought that we have here when we're thinking it's a zero-sum game. Now, if we looked at this in farming, if a farmer grew crops, we wouldn't go to him and say, hey, your neighbor on his farm wants you to quit growing crops because you growing crops is stopping him from growing crops. We wouldn't say that. That'd be absurd. But somehow we've tied the belief that if I make money or someone else makes money, it's taking away from someone else rather than adding to the abundance. Okay, so then the question becomes, why do we limit ourselves? And I think there's a lot of reasons, but if I had to boil it down to one thing, I would say lack of awareness. If you knew what you were capable of doing, if you truly knew what you were capable of doing, when a limited belief came to you, you'd just be like, get away from me, I don't want that. It'd be like a mosquito or something, okay? But because you're unaware of what you truly are capable of, when you get these negative limiting beliefs given to you, you've adopted them, you've heard about them, people have told you this is who you are, and you embrace them, you don't realize the cost of that. You don't realize how damaging and insidious these negative beliefs are, because these negative beliefs are costing you dearly. I mean, I just went on a tangent there about money and our beliefs on that, but think about your relationships, think about your health, think about any aspect of your life and how you could do so much better if you could actually see, like, what am I truly capable of? What really is the ceiling for me? And you were able to let go of these limiting beliefs. Because if you can't let go of them, you're just like in a cage, you're trapped, you're pushed down, and it's so unnecessary. In making this video, I did some research and I was looking at, like, how much of us do we reach our potential? On the average person, what's the percentage that we actually reach our potential? Or what potential are we playing at? And I couldn't really find any good data, but it said there's this myth about how we only use 10% of our mind and that kind of thing. And it said it was probably, the best estimate would be, they were pretty close, that would be the reality of how much of our potential we would actually use. So it's not a scientific thing here, but I just want you to think about, what are you capable of doing and how do you know what you're capable of? I know for myself, there's things I had no idea I was capable of this because I didn't go down that path. Before I started video editing and things like that, I would have thought I had no knack for that. I had no interest in that. Then I start doing it and I realize, like, wow, I'm pretty good at this stuff. I enjoy it. I can take different camera angles and put them together and this kind of thing. But I would have had no knowledge of that. I would have been living way below my potential because I just didn't get involved and take action and see what was possible. The biggest false belief I see repeatedly over and over and over is I'm not good enough. And if I was to take a $100 bill with Ben Franklin on it, and the $100 bill, if it had emotions and feelings and thoughts, and it thought it wasn't good enough, would it matter the value of that $100 bill? Would it still be $100? Yes. Could I take that $100 bill and put it on the floor and grind my shoe into it? Could I crumple up that $100 bill? Could I spit on it? Could I do anything I wanted to that $100 bill? Would it change the value of that $100 bill? No. But somehow we feel if we've had some wounds, or if we've been damaged, or we've been stepped on, or things have happened to us, someone spit on us, or whatever it might be, that now we have less value. Instead of being $100, now we see ourselves as $20 or 25 cents, something like this. It's crazy because when you look at something, the value in it is inherently in it. The value in you is inherent in you. Just like a $100 bill is a $100 bill, you can do whatever you want to it, it still makes it $100. And for you, you have inherent value in you, and no one can take that away. The only thing that can happen is you can believe you're a dollar bill instead of a $100 bill, and you can live your life like you're a dollar or a $5 bill rather than that $100 bill, and that is just so unnecessary. In this video, I've been pretty fired up here. I've gone into things that maybe I didn't expect to do, like money, but I want to leave you with something I did plan to do, and that is go over 4 steps that can help you when you want to break a limiting belief. Because one of the most important things you can do is change your limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs. Even if you just changed 1 belief a month, that would make such a difference in your life. Think of something that's holding you back, and if you were able to get over that, that would be huge. And even if it took you longer than a month, no big deal. I believe the critical thing to learning to anything like this is mastering the first thing. So look at your limiting beliefs. Think about your limiting beliefs. What is the biggest one right now that I could take and get rid of? Or what's a smaller one if I want to start smaller and get rid of that limiting belief? But decide right now, what is a limiting belief that I want to get rid of? Is it, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, no one will accept me for who I am? Whatever your limiting belief is, think about that right now as we go through this 4-part steps here to help you break these limiting beliefs. The first one is, number 1, identify your limiting belief. So figure out which limiting belief do I have that I want to get rid of. That's number 1. Number 2, then you want to challenge the belief. This is a false belief. If it's something that's holding you back, limiting you, it is a false belief. Now, what you can do is think about if your thought is, I'm not good enough, imagine you were in court and you had to either be the prosecutor or the defender. So in this case, you have to go to the opposite way of I'm not good enough, okay? And think of all the reasons, all the evidence you could bring to show that you are enough, or whatever your belief is that you're trying to break. So look for evidence of the opposite. Even if it's not perfect, even if you've only done it partial of the times, these kinds of things, that still counts. It's still evidence that you can do it, even if you only do it some of the times or part of the time. So that's number 2, is challenge the belief and see, what can I break out of this here? What is not true? Because Tony Robbins always says, and I really agree with him on this, is you don't want to see it as better than it is, but you also don't want to see it as worse than it is. You want to see it as it is. So look at this, challenge this belief, and what's really going on here. Number 3 is reframe the belief. And that is that if it's like, I'm not good enough, then it could be, I'm learning to grow and improve. Or I keep figuring things out. I believe in my ability to figure things out. So whatever it is, you're reframing the belief into something positive. Now, if it's something that you tell yourself, that is BS, I do not believe this thing that I'm saying here, then you got to change it up. You got to make it a baby step. But it's got to be something that you're willing to say and do. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It's that simple. And this is important enough to you to do that. I can't think of anything more important than eradicating and blowing up a limiting belief. But just know this, that if you only get rid of a limiting belief and you don't replace it with a better, empowering belief, there's going to be a vacuum, and in that vacuum, something just as bad or worse is going to fill it in, okay? Think about if you stop eating one kind of food, you don't want to eat ice cream, you're like, I'm not going to eat ice cream, but then you replace it by eating cookies, okay? It's like you didn't really change anything there. So here, if you are replacing it with a disempowering belief, a negative limiting belief, with an empowering belief, you're going to really get the action that you want here. As we wrap this video up, I want to give you something to think about. I am in control of my thoughts and beliefs, and I choose empowering ones. I am in control of my thoughts and beliefs, and I choose empowering ones. Let that thought really sink in, and let that meditate inside of you. Let that ruminate inside of you. Because I think that is a really positive thought to have and a belief to have. I am in control of my thoughts and beliefs, and I choose empowering ones. So when you get the choice to take an empowering thought or a disempowering thought, choose the empowering thought. Let this one go. Particularly in this thing here, I said, like, just pick one. Pick your top one or easier one. That's something you to handle. But either way, change your belief. You can do it, but you can't do it if you don't do it. You know, you actually have to take action. You actually have to decide, what belief am I going to do? Look at that every day. Rewrite it into the new one that you want. See yourself doing that. Read it, see it. That's how you change a belief. And it doesn't necessarily happen overnight. Sometimes people have to fake it till they make it. You have to do other things like that. But you can let go of those shackles, let go of those false beliefs, let go of those things that are holding you back when you decide that it's time to do that. What would your life look like if you could let go of that limiting belief and embrace the truth about yourself and your true potential? What would your life look like? Remember to like and subscribe and write comments, all that good stuff they like on YouTube. I'll see you on the next video. All the best to you.